I have such a shopping addiction that this is how I'm cutting myself off. Even my card doesn't want me to stop it. Come on. Come on. I'm kidding, I got fraud on my card.
Do you know how easy it is to spend $65,000 on a credit card? Extremely easy. That's it. And this is why Americans are going broke. According to Experian, the average American has $6,500 of credit card debt. Yeah, super easy. And it'll probably be way bigger if you could buy haircuts, punani, and weed on a credit card.
So this is what I woke up to this morning. And here's the video from last night that I found in my photos. Dinner, Uber, weed. When did I get this? Shopping, Roblox. Who's Sarah? Another Uber. Drinks with the girls. Went to a club. I don't remember this. Late night craving. Clothes. Taco Bell. More clothes.
I don't know about her, but my bank would have charged me a mean overdraft fee.
My husband and I are $60,000 in debt. In June of 2022, we had a good amount of savings and decided that our home that we've been living in for a couple years just needed some maintenance and some upgrade. And so we had plenty of savings and we decided to just drain those bad boys. We both had really stable jobs. We would be able to squirrel away some money over time and build back up our savings again. 2 weeks later, unexpectedly, I was laid off from my job. And I'm the breadwinner of our household, so it did not go well.
Call me pessimistic, but this is why I never touch my savings for nothing. I don't care if it's the IRS. I don't care if it's credit card bill. Heck, I don't even care if it's child support. And I don't even got a child. I never touch my savings because shit like this happens.
I don't want anything but to say good morning. If you put your bills in your kid's name, you're a bad person.
It's really sad how often this happens, and I've seen this a lot, including in my own family. But if you are 18 and you are in this situation, you do have a few options available to you. The first thing you can do once you turn 18 is cancel any credit cards that are still open and active. That prevents new charges. You can also put a freeze on your credit, which will also prevent them from opening new accounts in your name going forward. Another thing you can do, and I know this is not going to sit well with a lot of people, is that you can report it. And the benefit of reporting it is that it kind of starts the process of clearing your name. But if you report it, there is a chance that your parent could end up in jail or face a fine. So that's a choice you really have to make.
Shit, she probably should have never said that. There's no telling how many black families she just ruined by confessing that information.
I recently went viral for having $30,000 in credit card debt, and it even got picked up by Newsweek. There was an article featuring my credit card debt. And throughout the comments, a lot of people have been recommending different, financial gurus. And of course, people have been recommending Dave Ramsey. So here is why I do not subscribe to Dave Ramsey's snowball effect and his approach in general. So for starters, the entire premise of his plan hinges on having extra money to put towards. So you pay off everything. You pay your bills, you pay all your credit cards, you pay all your debts, and then any extra money you have, stop right there. Who the fuck has extra money?
I was in major credit card debt, about $62,000 to my credit card. And this was when I was working 9 to 5. I was so living above my means. I was driving the cars that I couldn't afford. I was buying the things that I couldn't afford. And I would just put it on a credit card because I thought it was like free money. Absolutely no idea what it meant by budgeting, financial means, saving for the future. All of that just went out my head. And while I was in college, I was so confused. I was racking up all of these student loans debt, and I just thought, oh, future me can worry about it. This resulted me in depression, anxiety, and towards my 20s, I had to rebuild this entire life around money and heal my money traumas.
You guys, I literally cannot make this shit up. Chase just increased my credit limit again. From $23,200 to $26,700, which makes my total overall credit limit $43,000. And this is so fucking predatory because they act like they just did you a service. They're like, oh my God, you have so much extra money now. They're like, this means you have more purchasing power when planning your next vacation or making home improvements. Bitch, it is so completely unnecessary.
I won't lie. It is funny to see people complain about certain things. This lady's complaining that she got a $43,000 credit card limit. Bitch, I don't even got a credit card limit that's more than $500.
I just saw a video of a girl asking people how much money they keep in their checking account before they start freaking out. And she said that her minimum balance that she never goes below is $4,000. And I'm not going to tag her. I don't even know. I've never seen her before. I'm not going to put any clips because I don't want to shit on her. This isn't me insulting her. I am just kind of baffled. But wait, there's more, because when I get into the comments, there were multiple people, and I barely scrolled through the comments, but I must have seen at least 4 people say that they freak out if their checking account balance is under 10K. In the checking account, I'm gonna be fully honest here and say that for the past 18 months, I'm lucky if I have 3 digits in the checking account, okay?
Finally, someone I can relate to, but I'm doing slightly better than. Now, me, in my checking account, I have way more money than 3 digits, okay? Usually in the 4 digits, okay? And personally, since I no longer like to live paycheck to paycheck, I make sure I have at least a couple months rent saved for a rainy day. I recommend everybody do this because trust me, the pain you feel as a man knowing that you can't just go out there and get a meal, fix a tire, you know what I'm saying, or get a haircut, or you have to decide if you're going to pay your electric bill or your car note, that ain't worth it. So save your money and shit. Do what Dave Ramsey did. Work 2 or 3 jobs. It's worth it.
So believe it or not, back when I was 18, I messed up my credit real bad. So I had got that First Premier Bank card in the mail. I went ahead and ran that up and did not care about paying that back. I wanted my own car. I wanted my own apartment. I'm sitting in my apartment with no furniture in there. Then I couldn't pay the rent. So then I have a eviction on my credit. I bought the car. The car was trash because I bought it from a buy here, pay here because that's all my credit would allow me to qualify for. And that thing broke down. So then I didn't pay that. And I had a repo on my credit. I done everything that you could do with credit. And I was able to overcome that stuff. So I know the feeling of not being able to get anything because your credit is stopping you. And I also know the feeling of having over 800 credit and being able to walk into anywhere and buy whatever you want.
I want to talk about my credit and bank accounts. Obviously, when I was running my businesses as a teenager, I racked up a lot of bills, which pretty much got me banned from every single major bank. I know a lot of people are curious about what I do for banks now and how my credit is now. So because of my age back when I was running the nightclub and starting my business, I never used credit. I never had any credit. I didn't even really know what credit was. Had I had access to credit, I probably would have been really, really fucked. All I had at the time was one of those Capital One secured cards, which I racked up like $800 with. So when I got out of prison, I just paid that off and then just started building credit. I got a car loan. The interest rate on that was super high. It was like almost 20%. But after a couple of years of paying everything on time, more credit cards started to extend me credit. And before I knew it, my credit score was almost at 700. And that was in less than 2 years of being out of prison.
Sir, did you say prison? What the hell did you go to prison for? I swear you really can't judge a book by its cover these days. Like, what?
How the Target Red Card ruined my credit. This is for educational purposes, and hopefully, if you're watching this, you might not make the same mistake that I made. So like anybody, a girl likes to shop at Target, and so it made a lot of sense for me to save 5% and get the Target Red Card. When I first got this card, the max was like $500. I was shopping at Target frequently, and I always paid my card off. Almost 100% of the time do I pay that every single month. So I don't spend enough on the Target Red Card where I can't cover it or anything like that. Usually it's just for, home goods purchases, diapers, things like that. So this one time I didn't pay it off by the end of the month. And there were 2 dates that you need to pay attention to. This isn't just the Target Red Card. This is every credit card basically. That is the statement date and the due date. So the statement date is when they report you to the credit bureau agencies, and then the due date is when you have to pay your bill. Now, I have paid every bill every single month. I've never gone past due on things or not been able to actually pay my bills every month. So I hadn't paid the card off by the statement date, but I did pay the card off by the balance due date. So what had happened is I paid that card in full, and then I had all of my notifications and emails and things like that off for this particular card. I mean, come on, it's Target, and I basically unsubscribe from everything because my email inbox just gets clogged up with all kinds of junk. Anyways, I didn't shop at Target for, a period of 3 months or something like that, and I went to apply for a mortgage. And when I went to apply for a mortgage, they pull up all of your credit reports and things like that to just get a whole view of your financial situation. So then when my credit report was pulled up, the bank brought up to me that on my credit history, there was something on there that was 90 days late or no payment. And when I further investigated it, it was that Target Red card. You see, what had happened is I had paid that card by the due date. But just because I had paid it by the due date, there had been a balance on there between the statement date and the due date. That meant that interest had acquired from the statement date to the due date, so I still owed interest on a few days of the balance that I had in between those two dates. Anyways, so that was 90 days. So on your credit history, you'll see 30, 60, and 90 days being late, which will absolutely kill your credit. Do you want to know how much? Do you want to know? It was $3.67 that was on my Target Red card that hadn't been paid, and I just was absolutely not aware of that. Now, I don't know if this is a thing, this was a couple of years ago, that's probably nothing that I can dispute, but it's such a small amount, and it has such a big impact on my credit report.
You want to talk about predatory? Now, this is predatory. I avoid store cards like the plague. First off, when you get a store card and you put everything on credit, you know something? You pay way more for those products than you would have paid if you just use your debit card or use cash, right? Because they're going to charge you interest on those products. Now, I get it. If you would have had a credit card from any other place, a bank or a credit union, you would have paid more for those products as well. But I think it's more funny that a store is actually charging you interest for their own products.
There was a point in time when I was $50,000 in credit card debt. My minimum monthly payments just to those credit cards was like $1,200 a month, just for the freaking bare minimum. And if you have never looked at a credit card statement to see how much interest you're actually paying, if you only pay the bare minimum until the card is paid off, and also how long it's going to take you, like 15, 20 years, and you'll pay like more than tripled what you actually have on the balance. It is like insane to think about. Okay, so however much credit card debt or personal loan or student loan or whatever it is, however much debt you have right now where you just feel like gut wrenched making that minimum payment, or obviously or hopefully like above and beyond the minimum payment to actually pay it down like sooner than later one day, like just think of the opportunities and what else you could be doing with that money. And I don't say this to shame you of like, oh, you shouldn't be in debt. Like, no, that's not what this is about. I'm not guilting you in any way. I was in the exact same boat, clearly. But what I do and what I help my clients with is figure out a way to actually pay it down in a timely manner that works best for them, that's still in alignment with all of their other goals, and they're not having to give up everything that they love to make them feel bad about the debt itself, right? Like, learn how you can like put an extra $300, $1,000, whatever that looks like to you, a month towards it, so you can finally just get it gone out of your mind, out of sight, out of mind. Like, learn how you can actually start to pay your credit cards off in full every single month and use them for the advantages that they have, the bonus points, the travel points, the cashback rewards, right? To use them for good versus just as like a means to pay for stuff because you're overspending.
Clearly, I'm not from where these people are from, where they're getting these $50,000 credit cards. I mean, where are you guys getting this from? I never get that in the mail. In fact, the most credit I've ever was given was about $2,000, and that was like on multiple cards. Like I said, the biggest credit card I have is about $500, maybe $700 at this point. But what I think is really funny is that people have spent $50K on credit card debt. What? Do you know you have more credit card debt than I have student loans? Like, I literally have about $36,000 in student loans, and I could have put it on one of the credit cards they gave you guys.
So the other day I talked about authorized user trade lines. Now, authorized user trade lines, for those of y'all that missed the post, is when, as a parent, you can add your teenage child to a credit line that you might have, like a credit card or something like that, just to give them a boost and a start to having their own credit history. This cannot go wrong for the parent because you don't have to actually give the kid a physical card for them to like go out and run it up at the mall and nothing crazy like that. They just benefit from you paying your bills on time. This question is such a great question. Now, as I stated before, it can't hurt the parent, but sometimes parents have hiccups in life, right? Parents aren't perfect, and it's okay. So what happens if your parent has added you as an authorized user and they have a hiccup in life? Nothing. All you got to do is pick up the phone or go on the credit bureau's website, dispute it, let them know that this is not your credit, and they'll just remove it. No harm, no foul. Now, be mindful while they're removing the whole trade line and the negative payments or negative history goes along with it, all the positive stuff goes along with it too. So you're going to lose the age. So if you've had it since, 10 years ago, and then just all of a sudden, like, mom or dad had to file bankruptcy, or they just started missing payments because of a job loss or something like that, the negative and the positive is going to go. But just know you're not stuck in a situation. So just give them a call, go online, dispute it. They'll remove it. I promise I know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure people going to challenge what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about because I experienced this myself. I was an authorized user on my mom's credit card. Payments got missed. I was like, ooh, I'm trying to buy a house, child. I can't have this. And the credit people were like, don't even worry about it. They removed it. No harm, no foul. So good luck with that.
Now, I must say, I have benefited from being an authorized user on someone's credit card. My dad made me an authorized user on his credit card when I was like 2 years old. I didn't know about it. In fact, he never even told me about it. We never had a conversation about it. I found out when I looked at my credit score on Credit Karma. So I was really happy about that. In fact, I probably should mention to him that, hey man, thank you for putting me on your Amex card, because now it's made my credit history, as far as like the length of time I've had credit cards, for like 30 plus years, when I really only started using credit cards like 10, 20 years ago. So thank you, Dad. I know it's really important to shout out these things, because I know a lot of people have bad experiences with someone being authorized user on their card.
Victoria's Secret Angel card is the biggest scam out there, and it ruined my credit. So it's not like technically a scam, but it falls under the classification of predatory lending, so therefore it is a scam. I used to work at Victoria's Secret, and when I worked at Victoria's Secret, I also was working at Ann Taylor, and I had a full-time internship. So I had a lot of money that summer, and my mom also I had like a 750 credit score at 19. But then I signed up for the credit card, and then I had a 500 credit score. Predatory lending is a scam. It's an issue. And a lot of it was, I just didn't understand that if I would have just paid the minimum balance, I wouldn't have destroyed my credit score. But they don't tell you that when you sign up for a credit card at Victoria's Secret. Some people don't even realize that it's a credit card. And then even further, you have 19-year-olds selling a credit card who don't really know what a credit card is to other 19-year-olds.
And the conversation about store cards continue. Yes, I do think they are predatory, and I do think it is strange that a 19-year-old is selling a credit card to another 19-year-old. But let me tell you how it was back in my day. This is before we had as much electronic banking as we have now, right? So like nowadays you can go online and pay your bill. Back in the day, you had to wait till the bill came in the mail, and then you had to call someone or even mail out the payment. I know, I'm just so old. I can just talk about these things. But seriously, first off, I want to say this. She took no accountability for not making the minimum payment. She said she did not know. Guys, we live in a capitalist society. It's buyers beware. Okay, people are selling you all types of stuff that should be considered predatory, but it's legal because it does benefit them at the expense of you. And so I think the best way to wrap this up is to say this. If you have a credit card, understand that you're being lent the money for a reason, because someone wants to charge you interest. They don't want to just give you $50,000, $60,000. I mean, I don't know how anybody got a credit card like that. Please give it to me. But seriously, they want to make interest off you. That one girl's paying what, $1,200 a month as a minimum payment on her $50K credit card limit. Like, what? That's wild to me. Okay, literally, I could probably pay off my credit cards in 2 monthly payments like that, because I told you I only have like $2,000 worth of credit card spending, which, by the way, I do want to increase at some point. But just to wrap all this up, if you have a credit card, make your payments on time. In fact, we probably should teach credit card accountability in school. We're teaching all types of stuff in school. I don't even want to talk about that because I don't want to get canceled. But we probably should try to put some banking and financial literacy in there. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. What about you? Do you have a credit card? Do you have a bad credit card experiences? What is your experience with credit cards? To me, I think the most important thing is that credit cards could ruin your credit score, and that's what people really care about. So I'm probably going to do a video about credit scores. And just to let you know, a good credit score doesn't start in the 800s. It starts at 670. I want to make sure I shared this in this video. Other than that, check out some of my other videos. I really appreciate you guys. I do a live stream on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and also at Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in. It's a call-in show. I let my viewers have a conversation with me live. Sometimes we do panels. Sometimes we do one-on-one. It's really fun. But also, like this video, subscribe to the channel, support this channel. You can give it a super thanks. You can give me a super chat. Whatever you feel like, even donate on Cash App. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you at my next video.